For more than 20 years, CTV has captured the moments that matter in our community. From our studios in St. Clair, you're watching Focus with Paul Dingeman.
Well, welcome to the first show of 2022. Isn't it amazing that year is already here upon us? We are glad you are here. We've got a great lineup of guests coming throughout the month of January, telling us about events that are happening. We'll get to those, but today we're honored to have the Assistant Principal and Athletic Director of St. Clair Middle School, Mr. Brad Robbins, and he's got another hat that he wears too, which is Chairman of the East China Education Foundation. When do you sleep?
Not often.
Not often.
There's always something to do, but it keeps me busy.
Let's welcome you to the Focus Show and say what's going on at St. Clair Middle.
Things are great at St. Clair Middle School. We got a bunch of great kids and great teachers. Obviously busy with challenges that COVID has presented for all schools and all counties and all districts across the state and country. But for the most part, we got a resilient group of kids doing a great job. Athletics are rolling. Obviously, our district in the county of St. Clair had to abide by a mask mandate that just came out that's, put some challenges in front of us. But our kids usually take everything in stride. They took all the changes last year in stride, and, we're halfway through another great
It's the
school
older
year.
people that get upset about it.
Well, there's just a lot. I mean, I sit here, and it's just difficult from our position to try and make everybody happy and try to align with necessarily everybody's beliefs, but you do the best that you can with the situation in front of you.
What's the population out at St. Clair Middle?
We're at just over 700 total, 5th through 8th grade. Obviously, when we did the restructuring of the district, we had the 5th graders come in a couple of years ago, so they have their own academy wing. We made that work.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay.
And they rarely cross paths with 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students. They have their own set-aside lunch, which does require more support and flexibility amongst our staff, and they've done a great job.
So you eventually, when the bond issue developments are completed, your building will be a total elementary building.
That's right. Yeah. So this will transition. What we used to know as Gehring and Eddy, and we kind of dispersed Eddy to go to partial Gehring, partial Pine. Those will reconvene in some way, and there will still be some planning in how that looks. But yes, St. Clair Middle School will be an elementary school, which is going to require some pretty significant renovations, because if you're having littles in a school that's built for bigs, smaller sinks, smaller toilets, et cetera, and then obviously we'll be moving over to the new combined high school project.
So just a timeline you mentioned before we started.
Yeah,
supply chain problems.
So just like everybody's experiencing, right, with supply chain issues throughout, I think that's thrown some wrenches in timeline for bond. And obviously I'm not the expert go-to on all the bond projects, but I have been involved in them. And I know that, for example, structural steel at one point was, a typical 10-week lead time to get it on site. And at one point this summer, they were at 52 weeks. So that delay in supply chain has made I know that our bond project have to rearrange some of the phases, and not necessarily in the order that we would like them, but in the way that we could get the materials to do work and move the bond project along. So I'd be speculating to say when all that change is going to happen. It's going to happen, but some of those things have just been beyond.
It's like a house of cards. You got to have the one fall before you can have the next one fall.
Yeah, and it goes throughout too. It's paint. The freeze in Texas caused delays in paint. It really did. And the manufacturing of certain crude oils or whatever, it ended up just having a huge impact on just small things. Technology's been very difficult to get as well with different companies on COVID shutdowns. And so each piece to that bond project that prior to, remember, we passed that bond maybe 2 days prior to the shutdown of schools.
In 2019.
So it was very difficult to anticipate that anything like this would hold up a supply chain. So we're in this unprecedented time of trying to function and get bond monies in order. Luckily, there's some forgiveness for that in terms of timeline. But projects are being done, and I think they're being done with just kind of best practices as they can.
Okay. You wear another hat. You do play-by-play for us with Tom Brenner on St. Clair High School basketball.
Sure. I mean, that's been a while.
Football too.
Yeah, we're doing football now. That's been a while. I think it was my own fault. I think I kind of complained that nobody was doing our games as a girls basketball coach, and the answer that I got was kind of like, well, we don't have anybody to do them, so I thought, well, instead of complaining, I'll be part of the solution.
That's right.
Unfortunately, this year I've been a little flaky, and I heard I got some flack from Tom the other day, but we've had some issues, and hopefully, I think I got a couple on the calendar left to do, so I'm excited to do that.
Okay, so you're here today to talk about one of your other hats, and that is the new chairman of the East China Education Foundation, which has been around for about 20 years. It raises money from the residents of the community and the school district for things for the teachers to buy that they don't have in their budgets, right? Is that, did I state that right?
Perfectly, yeah. So there's only so much budgeted money throughout the East China School District that, you know, administrators are able to divvy up amongst their staff for the wants that teachers have, right? Curriculum materials are expensive. The budget goes to pay for those curricular materials. But there's so many things that could supplement the education of a child or the teaching practice of someone working hard to kind of expand their practice. And what the East China Education Foundation allows us to do is provide the opportunity for them to apply for grants, go through a process where, you know, we kind of vet the applications and do the best that we can to divvy up those funds to teachers who are requesting them for specific things that would benefit our kids.
And give me an example of some.
Well, prior to the bond initiative, I know one of the big things was a lot of our furniture and seating elements were outdated, for example, right? And now that we're going to start replacing a lot of that through the bond initiative, you'll see fewer grants in that regard, but that was a big thing because there's plenty of evidence to suggest that the way kids sit and you arrange their rooms, you can actually increase the impact of student growth and learning through that. Another piece has always been and it continues to be technology, and that goes so quick. And trying to keep up with those technological needs, the school buying in bulk for certain items does help our students, but when teachers have specific needs for software programs or subscriptions to certain things that they like in their classrooms, these grants help to supplement those items as well.
So I understand you give grants out twice a year, once in the fall, once in the spring, and the teachers have an opportunity to apply.
Yep.
And then there's a committee, subcommittee of the foundation that reviews those, and then they are awarded.
Yep, and that's the process. So relatively painless for the teachers who would like to apply for them, and then the subcommittee will go through and try their best to meet all the teachers' needs. But if there is, you know, difficulty in having the funds to do it, and you got to fundraise for those to make sure you have the funds to provide it, you know, they get selected and then usually announced at the board meetings.
And I think, if I remember correctly, you normally award $8,000 to $10,000 round figure.
Yeah.
Each time.
Yeah, and that's all new to me, being just recently appointed as a chairperson and on the committee in general. But yeah, that's my understanding. Somewhere in the, I would say, $7,000 to $10,000 range for items, again, just to supplement the teaching practice or benefit our students in the classroom. And from my perspective, it is kind of nice for our local folks to have the opportunity to impact the classroom directly in a way that's a little bit more tangible. I think they could, you know, by doing that and then seeing what's granted at the board meetings, they know what they actually went to support.
Well, a lot of people have had children in the school system, and they've gone and graduated, and so this is a way for people to participate, to write a check to the East China Education Foundation. And its funds are handled through Community Foundation?
Right, the St. Clair Community Foundation is where the money is cycled through or filtered through or held, so that it's not just like an internal account within our own budget. So it cycles through the St. Clair County Community Foundation. They partner with us to make sure that we can continue to provide these opportunities.
But then you have fundraisers of your own, besides getting checks from people who are interested. Talk to me about what's coming up.
So in February, on the 12th, we are going to have our annual Chili Heart Run. This is something that's been going on for quite a while, and they've changed it throughout the years. And now with COVID, we've kind of learned some things that people are interested in, as well as trying to hold on to the things that people liked in a traditional 5K run. So we are offering this opportunity coming up on the 12th of February to register for the 5K, either in person or virtual. Last year was all virtual, and they found that they actually got a pretty good turnout for that. So they decided we decided really is just to keep that option open for people if they just want to register and log in and let us know what they ran. Some people prefer that, a little bit less pressure, and you can still donate to a good cause and get your run in. But if you're a little bit more competitive and you want to be there for the medaled race, we have that option for you as well.
The physical race itself starts and ends at St. Clair Middle on Yankee.
That's correct.
And it runs through the bike path, through the Highlands, and back to St. Clair Middle.
It cycles back around, and I'm thinking, in our committee, we've discussed, we're going to have the chili this year. So at the end of the race, we'll actually have some food and some refreshments, and the local businesses and sponsors who are providing us with certain elements of that race will have some items there for
good warm
the
chili.
runners. Warm chili for everybody, different kinds. So I'm told. So we got to sign up.
Are you one of the chefs?
I'll make something. I'm going to contribute, but we're running out of chili options. I might be the cornbread guy or something. I don't know. We'll have to see.
All right. So it's on the 12th. How do I register? Where do I register?
So you have to go to Run Sign Up. It is registration links are up on the Facebook page for the East China School District. Pretty readily available. But Run Sign Up for the event. We put out the flyer and a way to sponsor as well. On the school website, so you can select the in-person or virtual option. The cost is there; it's $25.
That's pretty cheap.
It's not too bad, and it's a good way for us to, give something that's pretty manageable, I think, in terms of cost for folks, and it doesn't create some high stakes issue with funds or running. It's mostly fun for our kids.
Okay. Athletics that's another one of your multiple hats.
Yeah.
So you're athletic director at the middle school.
That's correct, yep.
And how are sports going out there?
Sports are great. And for me, personally, in this type of environment with schools and the difficulty of the day-to-day with whether it's, difficulty with masks or mandates or contact tracing, sports has really been a nice outlet because that's kind of where my roots are in terms of just what I do to enjoy myself. So it's been really nice to see our kids have some semblance of normalcy with scheduling, and there's been less, no testing of athletes every certain morning, and they've been able to play without masks on, and that's been really nice because our kids kind of needed that, and our numbers have been great. So it's
how many years you've been in education?
In education, this is my 14th year.
Amazing.
So this is actually, I'm getting close to this direct split, but this is my 6th year in administration. So as quick as that has gone, it's my 14th.
And I imagine you're always amazed at how the students can move with whatever's happening in society. They get along. It's the people around the students that have the problems with it.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I think kids are a little bit more resilient or maybe flexible in terms of what they're able to handle or what they're able to learn from or live in a certain environment. And some of us who are older, myself included, we tend to hearken back to things that we used to do or we've always done, right? And we're a little bit harder to move and more rigid in the way that we view things. And the kids, to their credit, are a little bit more go with the flow. So they'll be better off for it, I guess. When they're adults, hopefully they can look back on this time because nobody's ever done this before, and they'll always have that to hang their hat on, what they were able to kind of navigate, especially middle school kids. You don't even really know who you are yet.
That's right.
We kind of look at that as an opportunity for them because we try to be optimistic, and that's the only thing that we have. So we're going to keep doing it.
February the 12th, let's go through the dates and times again and how I register.
Okay, so February the 12th for the Chili Heart Run. You can register anytime between now and then. We have different age groups. I guess that's something that you could look at as well for all the different competition levels. If you are choosing to run in person, those will be medaled differently. So everybody will get a medal and a shirt if they come out to run, regardless if they are virtual or in person. The in-person runners will have a chance to medal within their age groups as well, and the younger folks will get some certificates, and then there's some swag from our sponsors, and those folks are kind of pouring in as well. But it's February 12th is the Chili Heart Run.
Is there a cutoff date of registration?
You know what?
A couple days ahead.
I was going to say a couple days. I think we're pretty flexible, so if you're not sure yet and you're out there thinking about it, we got time. We'd love to have you.
Very good.
So,
Brad, always a pleasure to see you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for all you do for so many different groups. Appreciate it. That's about it for this edition of the Focus program. Thanks very much for tuning in. Till next time, I'm Paul Dingelman. See you soon.
Thanks for watching Focus with Paul Dingelman. Focus is produced at the CTV Community Television Studios in St. Clair. For over 20 years, CTV has captured the moments that matter to our community.